an extensive video essay comparing the original trilogy to the compromised re-release.
No.
Yes.
No.
Do you want to watch it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yes.
No. Because we need to talk about the top 10 tips for beginners in under 5 minutes.
Punch it, Chewy. So when you start playing the bass, you got to start anchoring your thumb, right? You're playing down here on these strings. Okay, you need to know what to do with your thumb. I've seen people do this with it behind the bass.
Yeah.
I've seen people do this where it kind of like floats in the air. Yuck, right? You've got to anchor it somewhere. It needs an anchor point. What I like to do is when I'm playing the E string, this low string down here, my thumb will most likely be found on top of what's called a pickup here, right? So I'll be like down here. And then when I move to the other strings, I can just put my thumb on the top of the E string, this thicker string here, and it can just sit there nice and neat and out of the way.
At SBL, we just wrapped up the biggest and best online bass event of the year, Bass Space 2023. Clinics, interviews, performances, roundtable discussions. It's like the bass Super Bowl for us. Now to celebrate, we want to invite you into the annual membership, which is going to save you almost 50% off of taking it monthly, and we're going to give you a month to try it out on us. And as a bonus to say thank you, we're also going to give you access to all of the recordings from Bass Space 2023. So we hope you take the plunge and decide to come study with us. Let's get back to the video.
Now, once you've gotten that thumb anchored where you want it to be, let's work on the correct pluck. A rest stroke, okay? What that means is you are going to drop your finger through the string and it will rest on the adjacent string, right? See how that's happening there? Or in the case of the E string, it drops and rests against either your thumb or the pickguard or the body of your bass.
What should they not be doing?
So instead, you shouldn't be clanking, right? Or pulling up and away, right? This is a very small sound versus this.
Exactly.
A very full sound, right? And something that you can do to just get it going is just take very simple quarter notes, even just with one finger, and don't pull up and away, right? Don't smash the bass. Get a nice solid sound, no clank with your rest stroke.
Okay, so now you've got your rest stroke going on and that sounds really nice and fat. Now we want to get you using 2 digits on this hand. We don't want you to be a 1-finger bandit like this, right? You need to be using 2 fingers, your index finger and your middle finger, okay? So we go index, middle, index, middle,
yes,
index, middle, index, middle. And then as you play other riffs and lines around the bass, as you get better, right, you are always going to be using both fingers like this. Check it out.
So at this point, you want to talk about gear? You want to talk about gear?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No. Do not obsess over gear. I mean, and I'm really talking to myself here. Honestly.
And me.
Yes, we sometimes obsess over gear, but check this out. Jim brought in this amazing Squire bass. Give a shout, Jim.
Shout to Jim behind the camera.
It's so cool. And you know, this was like $150 and it sounds awesome and it plays awesome. So, I mean, I have gone gear crazy in the past, right? Really trying to buy the coolest basses, and you don't need to do that. You need a solid instrument. Get yourself a solid bass and just work on your playing.
So next up is that we want you to use your pinky on your fretting hand, okay? It's so easy to ignore that. There are too many bass players that do not use their little finger when they're playing. And if you're wanting to in the future, you know, okay, to play stuff like that, you need to use your little finger. So I'm going to give you a real simple exercise right now, okay? Now you can do this all over the bass, but we're just going to start up here on the G string because it's not too much of a stretch, okay? So you put your index finger on the 7th fret of the G string, okay? Then I want you to put your middle finger on the next fret, then your 3rd finger on the next fret, and then your 4th finger on the next fret. Okay, now you can do this in 2 different ways. What Ian's doing there, as you can see, he's playing the index, middle, 3rd, and and fourth. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And as he's doing that, he's actually releasing the tension on the other fingers. So when the middle finger goes down, the index finger pops up. When the third finger goes down, the middle finger pops up. And when the little finger goes down, the third pops up, okay? Try that out, but once you've done that, try and keep them all down at the same time, okay? So index, then put your second finger down, keep that index down, third finger goes down, keep the second finger down, and then fourth finger goes down, and then by that time, they're all down. Now, if you find that too much of a stretch, don't worry. These fingers here can actually, they can move around
I like
here.
that.
But what I don't want you to do is put one finger down and all of the others to bob up, because I call that seesawing, right? What we want to do is get that really nice and smooth. Once you've got down to the top there, you can actually go back down. Check this out.
Next up, in the beginning, don't stand up and wear a strap. Sit down when you're practicing the bass. I mean, are your kids playing the bass yet?
Yeah, absolutely. My 7-year-old daughter just started playing the bass. Do you know what one of the first things she wanted to do was?
What's that?
Oh, Daddy, I want to stand up with the strap. Don't do it.
Okay, I agree, right? But why shouldn't you start out with a strap?
Because when you're sitting down, it's just a nice neutral playing position. It's on your lap here. Everything's super easy and accessible. As soon as you start introducing a strap, you might have it too low. You might have it too high. It's like these are heavy and you're stringing it around your neck while you're worrying about anchoring and, plucking correctly. It's overcomplicating things, okay? The right time to get a strap is when you're playing in a band.
Next up is a tip that I didn't know for far too long, and this beautiful man right here introduced me to it. It is about getting the positioning of your bass right while you're seated. So you got to take this one.
Absolutely. It's so common when players first pick up their bass that they've watched bass players in bands and on TV and stuff like that. And everybody gets their bass and they put it flat to their body like that.
That's what I did.
This is a disaster. It's a disaster because when you're playing, okay, so as soon as you get up here, this arm's hitting your body.
Yes.
Your arm starts doing this. It's a disaster and it's super easy to solve, okay? When you're sat now, I'm sat, straight onto the camera right now with my bass across my body. All I need to do is push out that neck, okay? Push out that neck. So imagine you're sat in a box, okay? You're sat in a box. Instead of the bass going from one side to the other, it's going from one corner of the box to the other. And then
next up, you got to learn how to tune your bass. There are pedal tuners like this for about $100.
you can get a clip-on tuner that goes directly onto your headstock for about $20, or you can just get an app that's free. So next up is to learn songs. Please do not forget why you picked this instrument up in the first place. Yes, you're going to have to learn scales and modes and arpeggios, and all of them are very important. But do not forget what you picked this instrument up for in the first place, to learn songs, to make music, right?
And let's show you a song right now, right? Okay, let's do it. 2 notes. 3rd fret E string, 5th fret E string, G and A.
Are you ready?
2, 3, 4.
Girl, you really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
Next up, be patient. Be kind to yourself. This is a process that is going to take a while, but you should endeavor to enjoy every moment of it.
Absolutely. Think of your favorite bass player now. Seriously, think of them right now. You got it? Okay. Well, they started off just like you, just like me, just like Ian. We all picked up that bass for the first time. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know what these controls did, or how to, where to put our thumb and how to put the strings. All of us were in the exact same spot right now. So don't be ashamed of it, okay? You are just starting out learning this amazing instrument, and you are going to have an awesome time doing it.
Lord Vader, you may take Captain Solo to Jabba the Hutt after I have Skywalker.
He's no good to me dead.
He will not be permanently damaged.
Dude, did you know that Boba Fett isn't actually a Mandalorian?
Boba Who?